On diamond number 3, Enterprise Wolves.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the State Softball Championships, powered by TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom, in partnership with KSL Sports. My name is Matt Robinson. I'm here with Jexton Dahl, from a junior at North Sanpete High School. Jexton is really running the show today, and I'm along for the ride. Thank you for joining us for this fantastic Thursday morning matchup between the Enterprise Wolves and the Millard Eagles. Our sponsors for this year's tournament are Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealers, Utah Community Credit Union, Intermountain Power Service Corporation, Central Valley Medical Center in Nephi, Sunrise Engineering, Sanpete Steel and Moroni, Beaver Valley Hospital, Nephi Federal Credit Union, Beaver Medical Clinic, Barney Trucking, Honey's Marketplace in Kanab, and Jones and DeMille Engineering. We appreciate our sponsors. Without them, we're not able to bring this competition to you this morning. Today's matchup features the number 1 in the RPI Enterprise Wolves squaring off against the number 9 Millard Eagles. And this Thursday morning, there's a ton of anticipation at the 10 a.m. game here in the winner's bracket, with the winner advancing into tomorrow with no losses. The loser has a long day ahead of them of this game. The Enterprise Wolves are coached by Katie Jones, and the Millard Eagles are coached by Blaine Burriston. The Millard Eagles are your visiting team. And there's the first pitch by Christiansen, foul ball. Count is 0-1, pitch up and in, fly out to second base for the first out of the inning, and on 2 pitches, you have 2 strikes and a pop out to second base. Great start for Christiansen and the Enterprise Wolves. Stepping into the box. Bear with me momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get Game Changer rolling here. 1 out. Number 2 batter steps into the box. First pitch, swinging, strike 1. Great pitch by Christiansen. Strike 2. Foul tip out. I must have missed one there. That's the second out of the inning. So very efficient start for the Enterprise Wolves, Christiansen and the Enterprise Wolves.
Now batting number 11, Haley Flynn.
And here's the delivery by Christiansen. Paints the outside corner, swinging. Count is 1-1. Pitch is fouled off. Hard line drive, foul down the third base line, brings the count to 1-2. 2 outs. Flynn at the plate. Christiansen pitching for the Enterprise Wolves. Here's the delivery. Off-speed pitch. And Flynn able to sit on it just long enough to foul it off. Count remains at 1-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the delivery. And fouled again. Christiansen painting the corners, looking really good at hitting her spots early in this game. Count remains at 1-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Hard line drive, foul down the third base line, and Flynn hanging tough, down 1-2 with 2 outs in the 3-hole for the Enterprise Wolves, or for the Millard Eagles. Flynn, a junior, batting .373 on the year. .21 RBIs, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. So Flynn, very productive season at the plate for the Millard Eagles, hanging tough here against Christiansen. And now the ball's returned to the field of play. And we're ready to go. Flynn steps into the box. Here's the delivery by Christiansen. Swinging, strike 3 for the third out of the inning. So a very efficient inning for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. We'll send it to commercial break. We'll be back in a moment.
Since 1947, Barney Trucking has built a reputation of unparalleled customer service and satisfaction in the trucking industry. Barney Trucking is now hiring drivers statewide, including Beaver, Millard, Sevier, San Pete, Juab, Carbon, Emery, Utah, and Salt Lake counties, as well as many other locations. The job includes a home daily schedule, excellent pay, benefits, training, retirement, a positive work environment, and requires a Class A CDL license with doubles endorsement. To apply, go to barneyjobs.com. That's barneyjobs.com.
At Central Valley Medical Center, we're committed to offering the best care.
In your life's first moments.
Through your life's biggest emergencies.
In your everyday help.
In those days that mean the most.
Central Valley Medical Center will be there with you through each step and stage of life, bringing the best care because we care. Closer to home.
Welcome back to the Spanish Fork Softball Complex. You're watching the state softball tournament on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. Matt Robinson here with Jexton Dahl. And the Enterprise Lady Wolves, very efficient bottom half of the first inning, go 1, 2, 3.
First up for Enterprise, number 12, Kyla Humphreys.
Leading off for the Lady Wolves, first pitch, high, ball 1. Flynn towing the rubber for the Lady Eagles, and Humphreys leading off for the Lady Wolves. Second pitch, high, ball 2. The count is 2-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning. Flynn taking the pitch from the dugout, checks her wristband, toes the rubber, down 2-0. Here's the delivery. Swinging, strike 1. Great pitch by Flynn, painting the inside corner. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Humphreys. Off-speed pitch, just off the inside corner. That brings the count to 3-1. For the leadoff batter, Humphreys, in the bottom half of the first inning. We don't have offensive statistics for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. Humphreys up 3-1. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Swinging, strike 2, bringing the count to full. Great recovery there by Flynn, who is all over the strike zone, just a couple off the inside corner. Count is 3-2, nobody out, bottom of 1. And here's the pitch from Flynn. Great pitch in the side corner, fouled back by Humphreys, who stays alive. The count remains full. Nobody on, nobody out. Here's the full count pitch to Flynn. Fouled back again, straight at us, and a great battle here to lead off for the Enterprise Wolves between Flynn and Humphreys. Count remains full. So far, a 7-pitch at bat. Full count. And here's the pitch by Flynn. Off-speed pitch, ball 4 high. What a great at-bat to lead it off by Humphreys. Battled, patient, fouled several off, and eventually takes the base with a leadoff walk. Stepping into the number 2 hole for the Enterprise Wolves is Drake. Drake, a sophomore from Enterprise High School. One runner on first, nobody out. And here's the pitch to Drake. Ball 1 low.
Now batting number 7, Haley Drake.
Got to get used to that. Delayed strike called by the umpire. Great location. If Flynn's going to get that low strike, that'd be a great place to stay for the right-handed pitcher for Millard Eagles. Count is 0-1. Nobody out. Runner on first. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball is popped up to the right side. It's going to be in foul play, and the ball is dropped. And those kind of plays can come back to haunt you. That was a pop fly to the right side first baseman in foul territory, and it was dropped by the first baseman. It is strike 2, so Drake goes down 0-2 in the count, but easily could have been out number 1 for the Millard Eagles. So Flynn up 0-2 on Drake. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. Squares to bunt with 2 strikes. Putting pressure on the defense. The third baseman came up and fielded the bunt nicely, but spiked it on the throw to first base. So with 2 strikes, Drake squares to bunt, which is a ton of confidence. She fouls that off. That's an out. But nonetheless gets it down in fair territory, and the E5 on the throw to first base. So with nobody out, runners on first and third, into the box steps in the number 3 hole steps Terry. Terry, a junior for Enterprise, in the 3 hole, showing bunt early. Nobody out, runners on first and third. Terry pulls back. Ball 1 advances the runner from first to second. So now with nobody out, the Enterprise Lady Wolves have runners on second and third with their 3-hole batter, Terry. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball is outside. Excuse me, that first pitch was a strike, so that brings the count to 1-1. Nobody out, runners on second and third. Here's the pitch to Terry. Terry hits it right back up the middle. Just bounced over the outstretched glove of Flynn, the pitcher, for a base hit, an RBI single for Terry, and the Lady Wolves are on the scoreboard first in the bottom half of the first inning, up 1-0. Humphrey scores on the single, Drake advances to third, and Terry stops at first base. Runners on first and third, nobody out, and Nelson steps into the box in the number 4 hole.
Number 10, Addison Nelson.
Nielsen, a junior from Enterprise. Again showing bunt. Going to try to move that runner from first to second. Showing bunt early. Here's the pitch. Ball is inside. And the runner is held at first base. First pitch ball to Nielsen. Count is 1-0. Nobody out. Runners on first and third. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball 2 high. So Nielsen goes up on Flynn 2-0. Runner remains at first. So Enterprise has runners at first and third. Nobody out with their number 4 hole hitter, Nielsen. And here's the delivery from Flynn. Great pitch. The runner takes second. No attempt to catch the runner. Straight steal. Terry straight steal second base. That was a strike. The count is 2-1. Nobody out. Runners now on second and third. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Line drive to the oppo gap for Nilsson. That's going to be a 2 RBI double for Nilsson, who smokes a line drive to the right center gap, scoring both runs, scoring both Drake and Terry. And that brings the score Enterprise Lady Wolves 3, Millard Eagles 0. Runner on second, still nobody out here in the bottom half of the first inning. Great piece of hitting there. Got a pitch on the outside half and drove it to that right center gap. Christensen steps into the plate, into the 5-hole. Here's the pitch from Flynn. High, looping pop fly. That one may have eyes. Sneaks just foul down that third baseline. Christensen popped down the third baseline, landed in no man's land right there behind third base, out of the reach of shortstop and in front of the left fielder, but dropped just foul. Flynn goes up 0-1 on Christensen. Nobody out, runner on second. Flynn already at 19 pitches and yet to get an out are the Lady Eagles. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball high, fastball fouled straight back, and Flynn goes up 0-2 on Christensen. So Flynn quickly jumps up 0-2 on Christensen. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ball is high. Brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Christensen did a great job at laying off the high fastball. Here's the delivery from Flynn, the 1-2 pitch. Low and inside, brings the count to 2-2. So nobody out, runner on second. The Enterprise Lady Wolves up 3-0 on the Millard Eagles in the bottom half of the first inning. And here's the 2-2 pitch from Flynn. Off-speed pitch high, bringing the count to full. So Flynn quickly jumps up 0-2 and follows that up with 3 straight balls, bringing the count to full against Christensen here in the bottom half of the first inning. Runner on second, nobody out, and here's the 3-2 pitch from Flynn. Called, strike 3. And finally, we get the motion from the umpire. Called strike 3. Christensen didn't like it, thought the pitch was low and in. But again, so far early, the umpire has given that low pitch. So that's strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning for Flynn and the Lady Eagles. 1 out, runner on second. Strike 1 is the pitch to Flynn. So Flynn, finding a little bit of a rhythm here, goes up. No balls, 1 strike on Hess. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hess squares to bunt, tries to slap one down the third baseline, and that was an offer. Flynn goes up 0-2. So for the second consecutive batter, Flynn goes up 0-2 on Hess, who is a senior for the Lady Wolves. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Flynn. Off-speed pitch, high, and just a little bit outside. Great 0-2 pitch by Flynn. Enterprise already shown a willingness to bunt with 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner on second. Here's the pitch from Flynn. That one got away from her. Ball 2, bringing the count to 2-2, 1 out, runner on second. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Flynn. There's the 2-2 pitch, a looping line drive, caught by the third baseman. And two great batters there by Flynn. The strikeout followed by the looping line drive to the third baseman for the second out of the inning. So 2 outs, runner on second, and Humphrey steps into the box for the Lady Wolves.
Now batting number 22, Brooke Humphreys.
Ball 1. Humphreys, a junior for the Enterprise Wolves. A right-hander. Count is 1-0. And here's the delivery from Flynn. Same spot. Flynn working the inside half of that plate, just missing, brings the count to 2-0. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs, runner on second. And here's the 2-0 pitch from Flynn. Ball 3, Flynn continuing to try to work that inside half of the plate and is just missing. And Humphreys quickly goes up 3-0. With 3 runs on the board and 2 outs, look for Humphreys to have the green light to swing away here. And ball 4 missed inside. So a 2-out walk from Humphreys. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. And Flynn already at 33 pitches here in the bottom half of the first inning. Hunt steps into the box for the Enterprise Wolves.
Now batting number 5, Macy Hunt.
Hunt, a senior for Enterprise. Showing bunt early with 2 outs, possibly looking to put some pressure on the defense. Pulls back and swinging, strike 1. Looked like Flynn threw just a little bit of a breaking ball there and quickly jumps up 0-1 on Hunt. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Hunt. Another great pitch. Flynn continuing to work that inner half of the plate. And strike 2 looking to Hunt. So Flynn up 0-2, 2 outs. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball high and outside. Flynn been working the inner half of the plate, threw one up and out, and couldn't get Hunt to chase. Flynn is up on the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and looking to get out of the bottom half of the first inning without any more damage. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another great pitch there. Looked like it was maybe just a bit high from Flynn. Brings the count to even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. Ball 3, just high, brings the count to full. The runners will be moving here. Full count, 2 outs. At the pitch, both runners will be moving. If Hunt's able to put the ball in play, the Enterprise Lady Wolves looking to do some more damage. And here's the full count pitch. Swinging, strike 3. So Flynn delivers in the bottom half of the first inning to get out of the inning on a 3-0 score for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. We'll be back after these messages.
The Intermountain Power Service Corporation is committed to supporting our local schools, communities, and the economies of central and south central Utah. Each year, IPSC's 2 950-megawatt generating units provide 3 million megawatt hours of energy for communities in Utah and Southern California. The Intermountain Power Project ranks among the best of coal-based power plants in reliability, cost-effectiveness, and environmental responsibility. IPSC, honored to sponsor this sports broadcast.
Welcome back to the state softball championships. Moving into the top half of the second inning, the Enterprise Lady Wolves up 3-0, score 3 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. 3 runs on 2 hits. 1 error by the Millard Eagles. Christensen, a junior for the Enterprise Lady Wolves, toes the rubber and paints the outside corner, strike 1. So the Millard Lady Eagles in a 3-0 deficit need badly to get base runners here. Christensen, great pitch off the outside corner, but gets Warner to chase, and Christensen quickly goes up 0-2 on Warner. The 0-2 pitch, ball 1. Warner, a junior for the Lady Eagles. And here's the 1-2 pitch. Ball grounded just foul down the third baseline. Had that stayed fair, would have been a tough play for the Lady Wolves to make, but Warner hanging tough. Count is still 1-2, nobody out here in the top half of the second inning. The tempo of play for the Lady Wolves is very, very quick right now. Lady Wolves showing a desire to step on the rubber and put the ball in play. Swinging, strike 3. So quickly 1 down here in the top half of the second inning for the Lady Wolves. First pitch, strike, grounded straight back to Christensen, and that's a 1-3 put out. Second out of the inning. First pitch of the at-bat, grounded straight back to the pitcher, thrown to first for the second out of the inning. So very efficient and a very quick pace of play for the Lady Wolves here. Christensen again toes the rubber and delivers the first pitch of the at-bat, ball 1, 1-0. Ball 2. Swinging, strike 1. Blakely Christensen in the circle and on the rubber. The pace of play is very rapid. Here's foul ball, strike 2. And that pitch was up, but fouled off down the third baseline. Batter for the Lady Eagles is J.D. Kane, a senior. And here's the pitch by Christensen. Again, fouled off down the third baseline. Christensen tapping herself, saying, hey, that's my bad, maybe missed a spot. But remains up 1-2, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. And Christensen hits a great spot off the outside corner for a ball, but what a great 1-2 pitch. Delivered exactly where the catcher was asking for it. Brings the count to 2-2 and 2 outs. Here's the pitch by Christensen. Ball 3, just off the inside corner. Brings the count to full for Kane. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Christensen. Hard line drive, fair ball. And that's the first hit of the game for the Lady Eagles. And that's going to result in a double right down the third baseline on a hard hit line drive by Kane for the first hit and the first base runners of the game for the Lady Eagles. Coach Katie Jones is coming out to ask for the ruling on the field. And what it looked, from my vantage point, I couldn't see where the ball landed, but it did hit the glove of the Lady Wolf, deflected off the tip of the glove for the Lady Wolves, and the third baseman was in fair territory. So that's a fair ball. Line drive down the third baseline, and the first hit and a double from Kane for the Lady Eagles. Coaches conference now in the circle for the Enterprise Wolves. Not a lot to talk about at this point in the game. 2 outs, runner on second. And Stevenson steps into the box. Number 24, Maggie Stevens, a freshman. Some additional conversation going on. So number 24, Maggie Stevens, a freshman.
For Millard, number 24, Maggie Stevens.
And first pitch strike, painted the outside corner, did Christensen. 2 outs, runner on second. And here's the 0-1 pitch, swinging, strike 2. Christensen painted the outside corner and then pushed it about 6 inches off the outside corner for swinging, strike 2. Here's the 0-2 pitch and strike 3 for the third out of the inning. So no runs on 1 hit and 1 person left on base. And after 1.5 innings, the Enterprise Lady Wolves lead 3-0 going to the bottom half of the second. We'll be right back.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs. Just complete an application on your phone or computer, or stop by any branch.
Hi, I'm Barrett Hilton with TeamHive.live, where we've created a locally run video streaming platform for Utah schools. Bookmark TeamHive.live, Utah's new home for streaming high school sports and other events. Powered by Centricom Local 10.
Nephi Federal Credit Union in Nephi offers convenient service and a variety of financial services. They're your hometown credit union that's been serving local residents for over 63 years, longer than any other financial institution in Nephi. The staff invites you to check out their incredible rates on a variety of loans and savings accounts. Nephi Federal Credit Union, 155 North Main in Nephi. Call 623-1895. That's 623-1895. Nephi Federal Credit Union, proud supporter of the Wasps this season.
Prize number 17, Holly Christensen.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships. You're watching softball on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. Flynn toes the rubber for the Lady Eagles here in the bottom half of the second inning. Delivers a first pitch ball. Leading off for the Lady Wolves is number 17, Hallie Christensen, a junior. Batting from the left side. And here's the 1-0 pitch from Flynn. Ball 2 outside. So Christensen goes up 2 balls, no strikes here in the bottom half of the second. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Flynn shaking it off, wants a different pitch. And here's the 2-0 pitch. Looked like it was a bit of an off-speed pitch, and ball 3. So Flynn falls behind 3 balls, no strikes to the leadoff batter here in the bottom half of the second inning. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That one what we call right down the pipe ski. Christensen taking all the way, brings the count to 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Flynn. Great pitch by Flynn, brings the count to full. So after falling down 3 balls, no strikes, follows it up with 2 consecutive strikes, bringing the count to full here in the bottom half of the second inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Ball just missed off the outside corner for ball 4. So number 17, Christensen, draws the leadoff walk. And again, the Lady Wolves have their leadoff batter aboard. Runner on first, nobody out. We're right back to the top of the order for the Lady Wolves.
Back to the top of the lineup for Enterprise, number 12, Kyla Humphreys.
So the leadoff walk by Christensen brings the top of the order up for the Lady Wolves. Nobody out, 1 runner on first. First pitch foul. So Flynn goes up 0-1, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Humphrey squares to bunt, bunts it down the right side, fielded by the first baseman, and the second baseman makes a great play getting over in time for the out, but Humphreys does her job advancing the runner to second base. So a sacrifice bunt, moving the runner over, doing your job.
Now batting number 7, Haley Drake.
And into the box steps Drake, a senior for Enterprise. 1 out, runner on second base. Drake at the plate. Great bunt there by Humphreys. Strike 1. Timeout called by the umpire. And strolling out to talk to Flynn about something. Maybe just dusting off the pitching rubber for Flynn there. Not sure anything else was said, but the umpire. So there's no balls, 1 strike. And here's the delivery by Flynn. Ball is up and out for ball 1. Brings the count to 1-1. 1 out, runner on second. Number 7, Drake, in the box for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ball driven straight away center field, back deep at the fence line, and that ball is caught by Dearden. Ball was deep. Dearden got the glove up and robbed at least 1 off the fence, bringing the second out of the inning. So a deep line drive caught in center field by Dearden for out number 2. And that leaves the Enterprise Lady Wolves with 2 outs, runner on first, and into the box steps number 14, Terry, a junior, hitting from the left side in the 3-hole. First pitch ball outside.
Batting number 14, Jason Terry.
Count is 1-0, 2 outs, runner on second. And Terry steps into the box, up 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Flynn. Swinging, line drive to the left fielder, and Flynn, a great recovery after giving off the leadoff walk, holds the Lady Wolves to no runs in the bottom half of the second. We'll be back after these messages.
I'm Dr. Sorensen. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, and I'm the newest addition to the team of doctors here at Central Valley Medical Center. My goal is to work closely with you when making decisions about your child's health. After all, you know them better than anyone else.
I think as a mom, it can be really overwhelming to find a doctor who's a really good fit for your family. I look for someone who I can trust. It's so validating and comforting knowing that I can call and get the answers I need from Dr. Sorensen and his staff.
I look forward to meeting you and your child and bringing you the best care closer to home.
Sanpete Steel in Moroni was founded in 1994 and is one of the major steel construction companies in the Intermountain West, specializing in structural steel fabrication and erection. Sanpete Steel's impressive portfolio includes the Hale Theater in Sandy and structures on the campuses of the University of Utah, BYU, and UVU. Sanpete Steel in Moroni, where their motto is done right and on time, at 685 East Main in Moroni. Call 800-261-1026, 800-261-1026, or sanpetesteel.com.
Welcome back to the state softball tournament on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. Matt Robinson here with Jexton Dahl, a junior at North Sanpete High School. First pitch, line drive over the outstretched arms of the second baseman into the right center field for a leadoff single. Leadoff single in the top half of the third inning for the Lady Wolves, or for the Lady Eagles. And the exact same result in the second at-bat of the inning for the Lady Eagles. A soft line drive over the outstretched arms of the shortstop. So very quickly, 2 runners on aboard for the Lady Eagles here in the top half of the third inning. Nobody out. 2 runners on base. And here's the pitch from Christensen. Squares to bunt, and the ball goes back to the backstop to the chain link, and that is dropped in foul territory. So foul ball, strike 1. Swinging foul ball, strike 2. At the plate is Dearden, down 0-2. Nobody out, and strike 3. That's the first out of the inning. So there's 1 out, runners on first and second here in the top half of the third inning. First pitch fouled off. Strike 1. So the Lady Eagles here in the top half of the third inning lead off with 2 consecutive singles, have runners on first and second, 1 out, and Stevenson steps into the box. Gracie Stevenson, a freshman. Here's the 0-1 pitch, paints the outside corner, swinging. Strike 3, actually. I missed a foul ball there. So, swinging, strike 3. Great. Christensen painted the outside corner. A great pitch there. Brings it to 2 outs. And here's Flynn, the pitcher for the Millard Eagles, looking to help her own cause with runners on first and second and 2 outs. Flynn, a junior for the Lady Eagles. Strike 1 brings the count even at 1-1. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Flynn. Foul tip, back to the chain link. So Christensen working the outside corner against Flynn. Jumps up, 1 ball, 2 strikes. and 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Christensen. Ball is popped up straight away. Second base moves under it for the catch. So after a promising start for the Lady Eagles, 2 straight singles followed by 3 consecutive outs for the Lady Wolves, and that ends the top half of the 3rd inning. We'll be back after this.
Beaver Valley Hospital continues to offer high-quality health care at the state's lowest price. Beaver Valley Hospital has state-of-the-art laboratory and radiology services, including cutting-edge X-ray and 3D ultrasound. The hospital also provides expanded surgical procedures for orthopedics and laparoscopic hysterectomy. Remodeled patient rooms and long-term care facilities combine with compassionate staff to provide our patients a comfortable and healing environment. Beaver Valley Hospital is a proud community supporter and is pleased to sponsor Beaver High School.
Hi, I'm Barrett Hilton with TeamHive.live, where we've created a locally run video streaming platform for Utah schools. On our website, you're not going to wade through a bunch of unrelated content. You bring up TeamHive.live and you're just going to find a lot of high school sports and events. We've created tools that make it super easy for you to create events and stream to our site. And if you ever need help with anything, you can give me a call. So I want to invite your school to join the team. If you're a Utah high school, you can stream live on TeamHive. That's TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. I'm Matt Robinson, here with Jackson Dahl. And a promising start there in the top half of the 3rd inning for the Lady Eagles. 2 consecutive singles followed by 3 outs, and the Lady Wolves get out of it unscathed. So we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning with the Lady Wolves leading 3-0. And here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball 1 high to Addison Nelson, the junior from Enterprise High School. Nilsson 1 for 1 on the day. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 high and in. It was Nielsen in the bottom half of the 1st inning that hit the line drive to the right center gap, driving in 2 runs, and Nielsen quickly up 2-0. Here's the pitch from Flynn, fouled straight back. So that brings the count to 2-1 on Nielsen. Nobody out. Bottom half of the 3rd inning, the Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles 3-0. And here's the 2-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball driven deep to right field. Right fielder drifts back and underneath it for the first out of the inning. So a great pitch on the outside half of the plate. Fly out to the right fielder for the first out of the inning for the Lady Eagles. Into the box steps number 6, Blakely Christensen, the pitcher for the Lady Wolves. 1 out. And here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball 1 high. Christensen 0 for 1 on the day. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. And here's the 1-0 pitch to Christensen. Ball just missed off the inside corner. Really great pitch by Flynn, but just in. 2 balls, no strikes. Here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, 1 out. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Warner, the catcher, doing everything she can to frame that ball back into the strike zone, but just missed inside. 3-0. 1 out. We'll see if Christensen has the green light. Here's the 3-0 pitch from Flynn. Christensen take all the way. Strike one. Count is 3-1. Flynn approaching 60 pitches on the game. And here's the 3-1 pitch. Ball hit into no man's land right behind the pitcher. Drops in behind the pitcher, but in front of the shortstop and the second baseman for a 1-out single by Christensen. So Christensen up 3-1 on the count, does just enough to get aboard. And it looks like they're going to bring a speed-up runner in for the pitcher, Christensen. Speed-up runner is number 15, Kinley Reber, a freshman.
Number 2, Rebecca Hess.
So with 1 out, Christensen delivers a 1-out single, puts a man aboard. Runner on first, 1 out, and Hess for the Lady Wolves steps into the box. Number 2, a senior. Ball 1 outside. Warner working hard back there behind the plate, trying to frame that pitch and get the call, but that one just a little bit too far outside. So with 1 out, runner on first, the count is 1 ball and no strikes. It's ball number 2. That ball is high. And Hess steps back into the box. There's the 2-0 pitch, and that's a hard hit ground ball down the third baseline. I think that one's going to be scored a hit. It was off the tip of the glove of the third baseman, but that ball was smoked right down the third baseline by Hess. And that's going to be a 1-out single. Advances Christensen all the way to third base, and Hess holds at first. So with 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning, the Lady Wolves with runners on first and third and threatening to do some damage again. Number 22, Humphreys, a junior, steps in. Humphreys is 0 for 0 on the day. Drew a walk in her first at-bat. Humphreys squares early, looking to advance the runner from first to second. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Humphreys pulls back. The runner does not advance, and that's a take for strike 1. So Humphreys steps into the box. Down 0-1, 1 out, runners on first and third here in the bottom half of the third inning. And here's the pitch from Flynn. Pitch was high for ball 1, brings the count to 1-1, and the runner Hess advances, takes second base. 1 out, runners now on second and third. Count is even at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Humphreys. Ball driven out of play over the right first base dugout. Brings the count to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, runners on second and third, and Humphreys at the plate. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Flynn. Ball driven to deep left field. Runners are tagging. Ball is caught by Thurman, the left fielder, for the second out of the inning, but number 15, Christensen, the pinch runner, scores on the sacrifice fly by Humphreys. So Humphrey's doing your job, hitting a deep fly ball and scoring the run. Runner stays at second, but the pinch runner Christensen scores from third base, and that brings the score to 4-0 here in the bottom half of the third inning for the Lady Wolves. Hunt stepping into the box now with 2 outs and a runner on second for the Lady Wolves. Macy Hunt squares early, pulls back, but then offers foul tip, foul ball to the right-hand side. So the Lady Wolves not afraid of the short game, for sure, with 2 outs, even looking to lay down a bunt here, putting pressure on the Lady Eagles defense. Count is 0-1, runner on second, 2 outs. And here's the 0-1 pitch to Hunt. Hunt again squares around, pulls back, and that's ball 1 inside. Hunt, a senior for Enterprise, count square at 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Hunt again squares around, pulls back. Ball 2. Ball low and inside. So the count is 2-1, 2 outs. Runner on second. And here's the 2-1 pitch from Flynn. Hunt pulls back again, and that brings the count ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Flynn now surpasses 70 pitches. And here's the 3-1 delivery. Ball high, ball 4. And Hunt takes first base. So 2 outs, runners on first and second. And Hunt draws the 2-out walk.
Now batting number 17, Holly Christensen.
Number 17, Christensen, a junior for the Enterprise Lady Wolves, steps into the box. Christensen 0 for 0 on the day. Has runners on first and second with 2 outs. A left-hander. Foul ball to the left-hand side, and Flynn quickly jumps up 0-1. So Flynn paints the pitch across the outside corner, jumps up 0-1 on Christensen. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball 1. Brings the count to 1-1. Here is the 1-1 pitch from Flynn. Swinging, strike 2. Flynn comes with some high heat and beats Christensen for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Flynn. Swinging, strike 3 for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Lady Wolves plate 1 run, bringing the score to 4-0 after 3 complete innings. We'll be back after these messages.
Vince Lombardi once said, "The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have." The quote rings true whether applied to our country, our schools, our homes, or on the field of play. We applaud our student athletes for their hard work and determination on the field and in the classroom. Brought to you by Sunrise Engineering, promoting excellence in sports and education. Visit us at sunrise-eng.com. That's sunrise-eng.com.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. My name's Matt Robinson, here with Jexton Dahl. Moving to the top half of the fourth inning, the Enterprise Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles 4-0. Stepping into the box for the Lady Eagles is number 3, Hallie Warner, a junior. First pitch fouled off. Christensen jumps up quickly 0-1 on Warner. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Christensen. Strike 2. Christensen, beautiful pitch across the outside half of the plate and quickly jumps up 0-2 on Warner. 0-2 pitch delivered outside for ball 1. Down 4-0 in the top half of the fourth. The Lady Eagles need some base runners. There's a hit right off the end of the bat, but again drops in no man's land behind the pitcher in front of the second baseman and shortstop for a single. Leadoff single here in the top half of the fourth inning by Warner. Now, if you'll remember, last inning the Lady Eagles started off with 2 consecutive singles and followed that up with 3 straight outs. We'll see if the Lady Eagles can keep some momentum going.
Next up for Millard, third baseman number 21, Emily Stevenson.
Stevenson, a freshman, steps into the box for the Lady Eagles. Nobody out and a runner on first base. Hit straight back to the pitcher. Pitcher whirls and goes straight to second base. That's a 1-6 put out, fielder's choice at second base for the first out of the inning. Very heads-up play on the sharply hit ground ball straight back to the pitcher. Christensen whirled and got the leadoff runner at second base
Number 14, Judy King.
for the first out of the inning. First pitch, strike 1 to number 14, J.D. Kane. Kane steps into the box, 1 for 1 on the day. Ball 1, here's the 1-1 pitch. 1 out, runner on first. Ball is low for ball 2. Christensen's tempo is very quick. Toes the rubber. The 1-1 pitch is inside for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner on first. Kane, 1 for 1 at the plate. That ball is hit dead center field. That ball is out of here. So Kane, with the line drive double in the first inning, squares one up straight away center field for a 2-run shot here in the top half of the fourth inning. Great hit by Kane. And those are the first 2 runs of the game plated by the Lady Eagles. Great piece of hitting by Kane. That was a line drive to straightaway center field, and that ball was out of here. So a 2-run home run by Kane brings the score to 4-2 here in the top half of the fourth inning for the Lady Eagles, responding here. Number 24, Maggie Stevens, a freshman, steps into the box, and we'll see if the Lady Eagles are able to keep some momentum going here with 1 out in the top half of the fourth inning. First pitch strike by Christensen. Christensen ready to go to work, strike 2. Christensen already on the rubber and ready to deliver. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. And Christensen looking to push the tempo. Here's the 1-2 pitch, fouled straight back. Stevens, the freshman for Millard, doing everything she can here to hang tough. Christensen pushing the tempo. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ball put into play, fielded by Christensen, and the 1-3 put out gets the second out of the inning. So Stevens able to put the ball in play, but fielded, and the 1-3 put out brings the second out of the inning, and Thurman steps into the box for the Lady Eagles. Thurman is also 1-for-1 on the day. Thurman looking to keep some momentum and try to do some damage with 2 outs. Pitch low and out for ball 1. Thurman hits a ball straight back to Christensen. Christensen overthrows first base. That's going to be an E1, and Thurman reaches on the air, the throwing error by Christensen, and able to get aboard with 2 outs. So the Lady Eagles still alive here in the top half of the 4th inning. Number 1, Mary Stevenson, a senior for the Lady Eagles, steps into the box with 2 outs, and Thurman reaching on the air. First pitch ball. Low and in. And a line drive hit right over the first baseman's head. And Thurman is going to advance all the way to third base on the single hard hit line drive by number 1, Mary Stevenson. So the Lady Eagles doing some damage here with 2 outs with the hard hit line drive over the first baseman by Mary Stevenson. Great piece of hitting. Which brings Dearden back to the plate. And Dearden swinging away. Christensen bringing some high heat here. 2 outs, runners on first and third. Count is 0-1, and Christensen continues to push the tempo. Lady Eagles maybe need to pay attention to that. Christensen pushing the tempo in the circle. And here's the 0-2 pitch with 2 outs. Foul tip. Dearden staying alive, down 0-2. Fouls it back. Runners on first and third with 2 outs. Dearden 0-for-2 on the day. Ground ball to second base. That's a 4-3 fielder's choice put out for the Lady Wolves, but not before the Lady Eagles do some damage on the 2-run home run here in the top half of the 4th inning. We'll be right back.
Since 1947, Barney Trucking has built a reputation of unparalleled customer service and satisfaction in the trucking industry. Barney Trucking is now hiring drivers statewide, including Beaver, Millard, Sevier, San Pete, Juab, Carbon, Emery, Utah, and Salt Lake counties, as well as many other locations. The job includes a home daily schedule, excellent pay, benefits, training, retirement, a positive work environment, and requires a Class A CDL license with doubles endorsement. To apply, go to barneyjobs.com. That's barneyjobs.com.
At Central Valley Medical Center, we're committed to offering the best care.
In your life's first moments.
Through your life's biggest emergencies.
In your everyday help.
In those days that mean the most.
Central Valley Medical Center will be there with you through each step and stage of life, bringing the best care because we care. Closer to home.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom, in partnership with KSL Sports. Matt Robinson with Jexton Dahl, and we're moving to the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles 4-2. And here's the first pitch delivery from Flynn. Ball is popped straight up and straight back for strike one.
Batting at the top of the lineup for Enterprise number 12, Kyla Humphreys.
Enterprise again right back to the top of their order. Humphreys, who is 0 for 0 on the day, with 1 walk and 1 run scored. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Flynn to Humphreys. Off-speed pitch. Humphreys sits back and drives a line drive between shortstop and third base for a leadoff single for the Lady Wolves here in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
Next up for the Wolves, number 7.
Humphreys did a nice job sitting back on the off-speed pitch and driving it to left field. Drake steps into the box in the number 2 hole. Runner on first, nobody out. And here's the pitch from Flynn. Squares to bunt. Does her job. Great play by Flynn, who fielded the ground ball and makes a throw across the diamond. First base was charging. Second baseman was covering the bag, but the ball just dropped out of the glove of the second baseman. So that's going to be an E4. Bunt straight back to the pitcher, Flynn. Flynn whirled and threw it across, and the ball dropped at first base. So the runner advances all the way to third base, does Humphreys. So that brings the situation with runners on first and third, nobody out. Terry stepping into the box. Terry squares to bunt, but looking to move that runner over. Pulls back and takes strike one, but the runner advances. So with nobody out, the Enterprise Lady Wolves have runners on second and third, and they're looking to get those 2 runs back that they gave up in the top half of the 4th. Terry 1 for 2 on the day. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Ball is low and outside. Evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. And the Lady Wolves have runners on second and third. Terry, the 3-hole hitter. 1 for 2 with an RBI on the day. Ball is just off the outside of the plate. Oh, got to be more patient there. Ball called a strike across the outside corner. That's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Terry. Runners on second and third with nobody out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another great spot there by Terry. The umpire giving that outside half, so Terry pushing it and Flynn pushing it, gets Terry to foul off over the third base dugout. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, and nobody out. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Flynn. The ball again fouled off over the third base dugout. Flynn, for the Lady Eagles, doing a nice job amidst a couple of fielding errors, staying very competitive and continues to work hard to hit her spots. The count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Terry, the 3-hole hitter for the Lady Wolves, at the plate. And here's the 1-2 pitch from Flynn. Ball is up, but Terry able to do just enough to get a single dropped in just over the outstretched arms of the shortstop. And that's an RBI single by the number 3-hole hitter, Terry. And that plates another run for the Lady Wolves. Drake advances to third, and Terry stops at first.
Now batting shortstop, number 10, Addie Nelson.
So Terry again delivers with a second RBI of the game out of that 3-hole slot. And that brings up number 10, Nelson, a junior. Nelson 1 for 2 on the day. Nielsen smoked a double in the bottom half of the first inning, plating the first 2 runs for the Lady Wolves. Steps into the box with nobody out and runners on first and third. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball is up and out. So the score is 5-2 here in the bottom half of the fourth inning for the Enterprise Lady Wolves over the Lady Eagles. Nobody out, runners on first and third, and Nelson, the cleanup batter, in the box. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball is driven to right field, but is going to drop in just in front of the right fielder's legs, and the throwing error from right field to second base allows Terry to advance from second to third. So a single by Nelson drops in just in front of the right fielder, is followed up by a throwing error from the right fielder, which allows the runners to advance to second and third. And another run scores for the Lady Wolves. That's going to bring the score to 6-2. Both runners advance to second and third, and with nobody out, Blakely Christensen steps into the box for the Lady Wolves. Coach Burstyn out to the circle to talk with his squad. And this is a critical time here for the Lady Eagles here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Now down 6-2, and with nobody out and runners on second and third, need badly to make a play. Christensen is 1 for 2 on the day. The pitcher for the Lady Wolves, she's 1 for 2. Scored 1 run with 1 strikeout. And looking to step into the box here with nobody out and runners on second and third. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Swinging, strike 1. Some high heat from Flynn. And blows one by Christensen. Count is 0-1. No out. Runners on second and third. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball is popped up to the right side. Looping fly ball caught by the first baseman, Stevens, for the first out of the inning. And Flynn, after giving up a couple of hits, responds by drawing the first out of the inning. Fly out to the first baseman. Runners remain at second and third, 1 out. Hess steps into the box for the Lady Wolves. Hess 1 for 2 on the day. Here's the pitch. Hess squares late, but pulls back, does not offer. Ball 1. Hess 1 for 2. Has 1 out, runners on second and third, looking to find a gap here to plate these 2 runs for the Eagles, for the Wolves. Here's Flynn with the 1-0 pitch. Hess did offer at that. She offered, that's a strike, but the ball got just past the catcher and back to the chain link, which allows Terry to score from third base, and that's the 7th run of the game for the Lady Wolves on the pass ball. Pitch was a strike as Hess offered at it. So the count is 1-1, runner on third base, and 1 out. Score is 7-2. Pitch is up and out for ball 2. So Flynn gets Hess to offer, but the ball goes through the catcher and to the chain link, which allows the 7th run of the game to score here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball is fouled to the left side, evens the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner on third. Score is 7-2 here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Hess 1 for 2 on the day, looking to plate Nilsson, the runner on third base. And here's the 2-2 pitch from Flynn. Ball is hit hard, just past the outstretched arms of the third baseman for a RBI single. The 1-out RBI single from Hess plates the 8th run of the game for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. And that brings the score 8-2. There will be 1 out and a runner on first. And number 22, Brooke Humphreys, back to the top of the order for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. Excuse me, not back to the top of the order, the number 7 hole hitter. Number 22, Humphreys, 0 for 1 on the day. 1 out, runner on first. First pitch ball. One ball, no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Flynn. Ball is high and outside. And Hess takes second base on the pitch high and away. Hess very heads up, takes second base. So there'll be 1 out, runner on second. And Humphreys up 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Ball 3 high. Flynn, who is now approaching 100 pitches on the game, needing badly to hit a spot. 1 out, runner on second. 3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4 high. And Humphreys takes first base. 1 out, runners on first and second. And Hunt stepping into the box for the Lady Wolves. Hunt 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Has runners on first and second and 1 out. Hunt squares around, pulls back, but does not offer. And that is strike 1. With 1 out, runners on first and second, Hunt may look to lay down a bunt and advance the runners here. We'll see what the Enterprise Lady Wolves want her to execute here. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Flynn. Hunt squares. Pulls back momentarily and then squares again. No, the umpire ruled that she did not offer, so that's 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners remain at first and second. Hunt squaring early. And does, in fact, lay down the bunt, but the ball rolls foul past the first baseline for strike 2. Based on what we've already seen from the Lady Wolves, don't be surprised if if Hunt, even with 2 strikes, tries to lay down a bunt here to advance the runners. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, runners on first and second, and Hunt in the box for the Lady Wolves. Hunt squares, pulls back, and hits a looping fly ball to the center fielder, Dearden, who drifts easily underneath the pop fly for the 2nd out of the inning. So great response there by Flynn, getting the fly out to center field for the 2nd out of the inning. The runners remain at first and second. 2 outs, runners at first and second. The score is 8-2. Number 17, Hallie Christensen, a junior for Enterprise is 0 for 1 on the day, takes ball 1. 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. 2 outs, has runners on first and second. There's a ground ball to third base, fielded by the third baseman, steps on the bag for the third out of the inning, but not without giving up several additional runs at the end of 4 complete. It's Enterprise 8, Millard 2.
2024 Chevy Silverado HD with Duramax diesel. And the Chevy Silverado with powerful TurboMax engine. No matter what route you take, there's a Chevy truck to get you there. Find new roads. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 LT TurboMax pickups. Plus, get a $4,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers.
The Beaver Medical Clinic has built a reputation of providing compassionate health care for residents of Beaver and Iron counties. You'll appreciate the professional services of Drs. Roger Smith, Wade Oakton, Lance Smith, Rhett Smith, and nurse practitioners Wade Hollingshead, Lindsay Cheney, Robin Horton, and Joan Yardley. The Beaver Medical Clinic is a family practice offering affordable health care and convenient payment options, with offices in Beaver, Milford, and Parowan.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. So in an action-packed 4th inning, the Lady Eagles score 2 runs in the top half of the 4th, followed up by 4 runs by the Lady Wolves in the bottom half of the 4th, and that brings us 8-2 Enterprise going into the top half of the 5th inning.
Now by number 22, Gracie Stevenson.
Stevenson steps into the box for the Lady Eagles. Number 22, a freshman. Christensen continues to push the tempo and delivers the pitch. Here's the pitch from Christensen. Ground ball straight back to Christensen for the 1-3 put out for the first out of the inning.
Next up for Millard, number 11, Haley Flynn.
Number 11 for the Millard Eagles, Haley Flynn, a junior, steps into the box. First pitch, line drive, hit straight away, left field. Left fielder right in position for the second out of the inning.
Next up, catcher number 3, Holly Warner.
Number 3 for the Lady Eagles steps into the box. Holly Warner, a junior. Christensen continues to push the tempo with 2 outs already here in the top half of the 5th inning. Strike 1. Off-speed pitch. Completely off balance is Warner. And there's the 0-2 pitch right across the outside corner, called strike 3. And that's a very quick 1-2-3 inning for the Enterprise Lady Wolves here in the top half of the 5th inning. We'll be right back.
The Beaver Medical Clinic has built a reputation of providing compassionate health care for residents of Beaver and Iron counties. You'll appreciate the professional services of Drs. Roger Smith, Wade Oakton, Lance Smith, Rhett Smith, and nurse practitioners Wade Hollingshead, Lindsay Cheney, Robin Horton, and Joan Yardley. The Beaver Medical Clinic is a family practice offering affordable health care and convenient payment options, with offices in Beaver, Milford, and Parowan.
Honey's Marketplace invites you to experience their refreshing variety and signature items. Honey's Marketplace features a wide selection of camping supplies, a garden nursery, and fresh floral department. Experience fresh-baked artisan breads and pastries in their bakery and sushi made fresh every day. Get all this with hometown service you deserve. Fresh, friendly, and close to home. Honey's Marketplace, 260 East, 300 South in Kanab.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. Going to the bottom half of the fifth inning, the Enterprise Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles 8-2. In the other 10 a.m. no-loss game, the Beavers are currently leading the Parowan Rams 5-4 in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Here in the bottom half of the fifth inning, the Millard Lady Eagles need badly to have a quick inning. First pitch, and that ball is going to drop just in front of the right, outstretched arms of the right fielder. A bit of a looping line drive drops in for a leadoff double for number 12, Humphreys, a sophomore, for the Enterprise Lady Wolves, which brings up Drake, a senior.
Now batting, catcher number 7, Haley Drake.
So the leadoff double by Christensen leaves the Lady Wolves with a runner on second, nobody out. And Drake stepping into the box for the Lady Wolves. Another line drive hit straight away center field. Center fielder over to make the catch. So with a runner on second base, that's the first out of the inning. Great catch by the center fielder, Dearden, for the Lady Eagles. Stepping into the box is number 14, Terry. One out, runner on second, and here's the pitch to Terry. Christensen advances from second to third on the wild pitch. And here's Terry, runner on third, one out. Foul ball straight back. Anything to the right side or anything in the air will score the run for the Lady Wolves here with one out. One ball, one strike, one out, runner on third. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball 3, outside, 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and the runner on third base. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball hit straight back up the middle, and the put out at first base just past the outstretched glove from Flynn at second base, but a great play by the second baseman, Davies, for the 4-3 fielder's choice. but that plates another run. That's an RBI for Terry, and that moves the score 9-2 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning with 2 outs. Brings up number 10, Nielsen, in the 4-hole. Nielsen takes ball 1 high. Here's the pitch by Flynn. And number 10, Nielsen, draws the hit by pitch. With 2 outs, Flynn comes too far inside and off the shoulder blade of Nielsen. So that will put a runner aboard with 2 outs for the Enterprise Lady Wolves here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Score is 9-2. Giving a little extra time to Nielsen there on first base to sort of catch her breath and get her wits about her. Into the box steps number 6, the pitcher for the Enterprise Wolves, Blakely Christensen, with 1 runner aboard and 2 outs. First pitch ball, count is 1-0, 2 outs. And Christensen at the plate for the Lady Wolves. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Flynn. Ball fouled straight back, evens the count at 1-1. Flynn now at 115 pitches on the day. Score is 9-2. 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball is driven to right field, over the right fielder's head, and bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Christensen will remain at third base, and Nielsen will be held up at third on the ground rule double. So that will bring runners to second and third with 2 outs, and number 2, Rebecca Hess, a senior, stepping in, and the Enterprise Lady Wolves looking to add to the 9 runs that they've already scored here in the bottom half of the 5th inning with 2 outs. So first base is open, runners on second and third with 2 outs. Hess steps into the box. First pitch low and outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0 delivery from Flynn. Squares to bunt. Flynn fields it, throws across for the 1-3 fielder's choice, and that ends the inning, but not after the Lady Wolves score another run, bringing the score to 9 runs to 2 at the end of 5 complete innings. We'll be right back.
After 5 innings of play.
The Intermountain Power Service Corporation is committed to supporting our local schools, communities, and the economies of central and south central Utah. Each year, IPSC's 2 950-megawatt generating units provide 3 million megawatt hours of energy for communities in Utah and Southern California. The Intermountain Power Project ranks among the best of coal-based power plants in reliability, cost-effectiveness, and environmental responsibility. IPSC, honored to sponsor this sports broadcast.
At At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs. Just complete an application on your phone or computer, or stop by any branch.
Hi, I'm Barrett Hilton with TeamHive.live, where we've created a locally run video streaming platform for Utah schools. Bookmark TeamHive.live, Utah's new home for streaming high school sports and other events. Powered by Centricom Local 10.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom, in partnership with KSL Sports. Matt Robinson with Jexton Dahl. And at the end of 5 complete innings, the Enterprise Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles from Millard High School 9 runs to 2. Stepping into the box for the Lady Eagles, Stevenson, a freshman. Line drive to the right side, and a great play by the first baseman, Hunt. Hunt leaves her feet and robs a single on a great play. Christensen continues to push the pace in the circle. The Lady Eagles need to make sure that they can keep control of the pace of the play. And here's the 1-out pitch to number 14, Kane. And ball 2, outside, off the outside corner. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Christensen. Foul tip off the foot. And Kane remains down 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch, or the 2-0 pitch from Christensen, fouled straight back for strike 1. 1 out, 2 balls, 1 strike. Kane in the box, 2 for 2 with a double and a 2-run home run. High hit fly ball to straightaway center field. Center fielder straight back for the second home run of the game by Kane. Center fielder lost track of the fence, and that ball by Kane dropped just over top of the center field fence. So Kane having a day at the plate with a double and 2 home runs. One of the shining bright spots for the Millard Lady Eagles is Kane, who is now 3 for 3 on the day with 2 home runs and a double. Brings the score 9 runs to 3 with 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning. Number 24, Maggie Stevens, a freshman, steps into the box, who is 0-2. Off-speed pitch. Stevens fielded by the third baseman across the diamond for the 5-3 putout for the second out of the inning. So hard hit ground ball by Stevens, fielded by Humphreys and thrown across the diamond to Hunt for the second out of the inning. And Thurman, a junior, steps into the box. Thurman 1 for 2 on the day. 2 outs, nobody on. Ball fouled back off the right-hand side. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Off-speed pitch, swinging, strike 1. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ground ball hit straight back to the pitcher, Christensen, across the diamond to the first base. And that ends the top half of the 6th inning on the 1-3 putout. And the Lady Eagles score 1 run on the home run by Kane, and that brings the score 9-3 going to the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll be right back.
Nephi Federal Credit Union in Nephi offers convenient service and a variety of financial services. They're your hometown credit union that's been serving local residents for over 63 years, longer than any other financial institution in Nephi. The staff invites you to check out their incredible rates on a variety of loans and savings accounts. Nephi Federal Credit Union, 155 North Main in Nephi. Call 623-1895. That's 623-1895. Nephi Federal Credit Union, proud supporter of the Wasps this season.
I'm Dr. Sorensen. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, and I'm the newest addition to the team of doctors here at Central Valley Medical Center. My goal is to work closely with you when making decisions about your child's health. After all, you know them better than anyone else.
I think as a mom, it can be really overwhelming to find a doctor who's a really good fit for your family. I look for someone who I can trust. It's so validating and comforting knowing that I can call and get the answers I need from Dr. Sorensen and his staff.
I look forward to meeting you and your child and bringing you the best care closer to home.
Welcome back to the State Softball Championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. And we're moving to the bottom half of the 6th inning, where the Enterprise Lady Wolves are winning 9-3 over the Lady Eagles of Millard High School. Leading off the bottom half of the 6th for the Lady Wolves is number 22, Brooke Humphreys. Humphreys' first pitch, line drive to the left center gap, and the center fielder for the Lady Eagles drifts over and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning for Flynn. And into the box. One out. Number 5, Macy Hunt, a senior, in the box. One ball, no strikes, and 1 out. Fly ball hit to second base drifting back and makes the play for the second out of the inning. So a very efficient bottom half of the 6th so far for Flynn and the Lady Eagles. 2 up, 2 down. Number 17, Christensen, a junior, steps into the box with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Fly ball down the left field line. It's going to drop foul, out of play for a first pitch strike for Flynn. In the other 10 a.m. no-loss bracket, the Beavers and the Parowan Rams tied at 6 runs apiece, moving into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Tight game. And ball 1 to Christensen. 2 outs, nobody on. 9-3 Enterprise over Millard here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 1-1 pitch, fouled down the left field line for strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Ball from Flynn. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Ball outside. Two outs, nobody on. And the count is full. Here's the full count pitch. Ball hit down the third baseline, fielded by the third baseman, but not in time, and that will be an infield single by Hallie Christensen with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Number 12, Humphreys, a sophomore, steps in. 1 for 2 on the day for the Lady Wolves. 2 outs, runners on first. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Runner steals second, just a straight steal by number 17, Hallie Christensen. Got a great jump and took second base here with 2 outs. Ball 1 to the batter, so 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Now a runner on second with the stolen base. Here's the pitch from Flynn, her 130th pitch of the day. Had a busy day in the circle. Flynn for the Lady Eagles, ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. 2 outs and runner on second. Hard hit ground ball between shortstop and third base is Humphreys, and that will be an RBI single with 2 outs for Humphreys. Scores the run from second base, and Humphreys doing her job with the 2-out single. Brings the score 10-3 for the Lady Wolves here in the bottom half of the 6th. In the other 10 a.m. no-loss game just ended in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Parowan Rams walk it off and beat the Lady Beavers 7-6. 2 outs. Ball 1. Drake, the senior for Enterprise, is 0 for 4 on the day. Looking to keep this inning alive here in the bottom half of the 6th inning, where the Lady Wolves lead 10-3. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs, runner on first base. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, runner on first base. Number 7, Drake in the box. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Strike 1, that brings the count to 2-1, but Humphreys takes second base again on the steal. So Enterprise forcing the issue on the base paths, getting yet another runner into scoring position with 2 outs. The count is 2-1 to Drake. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Drake. Ball 3 inside. Number 7, Drake, 0 for 4 on the day, looking to plate another run for the Enterprise Lady Wolves. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Flynn. 2 outs, runner on second base. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Flynn. Ball is driven deep down the left field line. It's going to drop foul, out of play, and that will bring the count to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Enterprise Lady Wolves leading the Millard Lady Eagles 10-3. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on second base for Drake, the senior from Enterprise High School. The 137th pitch of the day for Flynn. Ball 4, low and inside. So Drake takes her base, draws a walk, will put runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Next up, number 14, Casey Terry.
Number 14, Terry, 2 for 3 on the day. 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Runners on first and second, 2 out. And the Lady Wolves looking to do some damage here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Ball 1 to Terry. Terry, the left-hander, looking to find a gap and played another run for the Lady Wolves. Here's the pitch from Flynn. Fouled back, strike 1. Count is 1-1 with 2 outs. Terry, the junior on the day, or a junior for Enterprise High School, 2 for 3 on the day. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Flynn. Again, fouled straight back, and Flynn jumps up on Terry, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 6th. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Flynn. Again, fouled straight back. Count remains at 1-2. Flynn trying to beat Terry on the outside half of the plate, but Terry fighting him off, working to get a pitch that she can drive to a gap. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Again, fouled straight back, and Flynn continuing to work that outer half of the plate, and Terry just fighting him off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Flynn continues to pound the outside half of the plate. We'll see if she tries to sneak something up and in here with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Definitely came up, but out of the strike zone will level the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning to Terry, the number 3 hole hitter for the Lady Wolves. Ball is popped up to the left-hand side, and that ball is going to drop. That was a looping fly ball that dropped just behind the third baseman and out of the reach of the shortstop. Should have been caught. Would have been the 3rd out of the inning. But instead, the Lady Wolves plate another run, bringing the score 11-3, and runners advance to 2nd and 3rd. 11-3, Lady Wolves. 2 outs, runners on 2nd and 3rd. And Coach Burriston calls a timeout, looking to make a substitution. And that's going to be it for Flynn, number 11, the junior. After 143 pitches, she's going to get a breather. Number 22, Gracie Stevenson in to pitch for the Lady Eagles, and we'll send it to the station for these messages. We'll be right back.
San Pete Steel in Moroni was founded in 1994 and is one of the major steel construction companies in the Intermountain West, specializing in structural steel fabrication and erection. San Pete Steel's impressive portfolio includes the Hale Theater in Sandy and structures on the campuses of the University of Utah, BYU, and UVU. San Pete Steel in Moroni, where their motto is done right and on time, at 685 East Main in Moroni. Call 800-261-1026, 800-261-1026, or sanpetesteel.com. Beaver Valley Hospital continues to offer high-quality health care at the state's lowest price. Beaver Valley Hospital has state-of-the-art laboratory and radiology services, including cutting-edge X-ray and 3D ultrasound. The hospital also provides expanded surgical procedures for orthopedics and laparoscopic hysterectomy. Remodeled patient rooms and long-term care facilities combine with compassionate staff to provide our patients a comfortable and healing environment. Beaver Valley Hospital is a proud community supporter and is pleased to sponsor Beaver High School.
Welcome back to the state softball championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. So number 22, the freshman Stevenson, enters the game for the Lady Eagles. And even though the Lady Eagles are down 11-1-3, what a valuable state tournament experience for the freshman for the Lady Eagles. Stevenson delivers a first pitch ball to number 10, Addison Nilsson.
Now batting shortstop, number 10, Addie Nelson.
Count goes to 2-0. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. And here's the 2-0 pitch from Stevenson. Ball is high for the third ball of the at-bat, 3-0. Nilsson almost certainly has the green light to swing away here and takes ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk for the freshman Stevenson brings the bases loaded with 2 outs. And number 6, Blakely Christensen, stepping into the box, the junior pitcher for the Lady Wolves. Christensen 1 for 4 on the day. Stevenson again high for ball 1. So Stevenson, number 22 for the Lady Eagles, a freshman, looking to find the strike zone. Missed again high. Brings the count to 2-0. The plate umpire calls a timeout, is going to have just a little bit of instruction for the freshman. So 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, and bases loaded here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Millard Eagles looking desperately to get the 3rd out of the inning. 11-3. Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles here in the bottom half of the 6th. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Stevenson. Ball 3 high. So that's 7 straight balls for Stevenson. The freshman needs to settle in and find the strike zone. 3 balls, no strikes, bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th. And there it is, 3 balls and 1 strike. See if Stevenson can keep that with her. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. And here's the 3-1 pitch. Line drive hit to straightaway center field. Ball was hit very hard, but Dearden drifts in and makes a great catch for the 3rd out of the inning. The Enterprise Lady Wolves leave the bases loaded. The score is 11 Enterprise, 3 for the Lady Eagles, moving to the top half of the 7th inning. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Barrett Hilton with TeamHive.live, where we've created a locally run video streaming platform for Utah schools. On our website, you're not going to wade through a bunch of unrelated content. You bring up TeamHive.live and you're just going to find a lot of high school sports and events. We've created tools that make it super easy for you to create events and stream to our site. And if you ever need help with anything, you can give me a call. So I want to invite your school to join the team. If you're a Utah high school, you can stream live on TeamHive. That's TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom.
Vince Lombardi once said, "The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have." The quote rings true whether applied to our country, our schools, our homes, or on the field of play. We applaud our student athletes for their hard work and determination on the field and in the classroom. Brought to you by Sunrise Engineering, promoting excellence in sports and education. Visit us at sunrise-eng.com. That's sunrise-eng.com.
Welcome back to the state softball championships on TeamHive.live, powered by Centricom in partnership with KSL Sports. Matt Robinson with Jexton Dahl. And at the end of 6 complete innings, the Enterprise Lady Wolves leading the Lady Eagles of Millard High School 11 runs to 3. And the Lady Wolves 3 outs away from closing out this game. Look for Christensen to push the tempo. The junior pitcher for the Enterprise Wolves steps onto the rubber and delivers ball 1 low and outside. Ground ball hit to the left side, fielded and thrown across. Great play by the third baseman for the 5-3 putout. Number 22, Humphreys, seemed to lose her balance, but is still able to make the field the ball and make the throw across the diamond for the first out of the inning.
Back to the lineup for Millard, number 18, Caitlin Dearden.
Dearden pops straight up and caught by number 7, Drake, the catcher, on a great play for the second out of the inning. So the Lady Wolves 1 out away from closing this game out here in the top half of the 7th inning, up by 8 runs. Here's the 2-out pitch from Christensen. Swinging strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on. Number 22, Gracie Stevenson, the freshman, swinging strike 2. So the Lady Wolves 1 strike away from ending this game. Here's the 0-2 pitch, swinging strike 3, and that's the ball game. Enterprise Lady Wolves close out the Lady Eagles 11 runs to 3 here after 6.5 innings at the end of the top half of the 7th, and that's the ball game, folks.
Enterprise 11, Millard 3. Enterprise
final score,
tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Enterprise 11, Millard 3. Enterprise on 12 hits, only 1 error. That ends the ball game. 3 runs in the first, 1 run in the third, 4 runs in the fourth, 1 run in the fifth, and 2 runs in the bottom half of the 6th. And the one shining star for the Millard Eagles was Kane, who goes 3 for 3 at the plate with a double and 2 home runs, responsible for all 3 RBIs for the Lady Eagles. And the final score is Enterprise Lady Wolves 11, the Millard Lady Eagles 3. We'll be back after these messages.
Since 1947, Barney Trucking has built a reputation of unparalleled customer service and satisfaction in the trucking industry. Barney Trucking is now hiring drivers statewide, including Beaver, Millard, Sevier, San Pete, Juab, Carbon, Emery, Utah, and Salt Lake counties, as well as many other locations. The job includes a home daily schedule, excellent pay, benefits, training, retirement, a positive work environment, and requires a Class A CDL license with doubles endorsement. To apply, go to barneyjobs.com. That's barneyjobs.com.
At Central Valley Medical